Well, hey there, everybody. Aaron here. Welcome to another episode of Gideon's Tactical. Today, we just have a little EDC blade for you that I want to showcase for you and give you my overall opinion and give you a full field test on the Emerson Kershaw collaboration CQC-2K. That's what we're looking at here today. We've done the 6K, we've done the 1K, and now it's time to do the 2K and see whether or not this is going to be an overall good little EDC blade for you. To my knowledge, this is the smallest one that they've released this year. We're going to see whether or not it is a good, just mini EDC blade, or if there's some shortcomings with this knife that kind of hold it back, in my opinion, and kind of, make it not necessarily the best of the Emerson Kershaw series. You're going to have to stick around to the end of the video so I can give you my overall opinion on the CQC-2K. So with that being said, let's look at some specs, start using this knife, and get into this full field test and review on this little EDC blade. All right, guys, let's go ahead and take a look at the specs here on the 2K. What you have is an 8CR13 MOV steel blade with a hollow grind. You can see there it's got a little bit of a recurve. The blade length is 2.75 inches in overall length, and it's a pretty thick blade, which you're about to see really actually hinders this knife a lot. It is 0.12, so almost over an eighth of an inch thick in its overall thickness of the blade. And that 8CR13 MOV, it's a great budget steel, and this is a budget knife. It's going to hold a good edge, it's going to take a good edge, and I have never had really any complaints for the price point that Kershaw puts out 8CR13 MOV steel blades. They sharpen well, and they hold a pretty good edge overall. And some other things to note as well is the overall handle length is 3.6 inches, the handle length, excuse me, and then the weight is 2.99 ounces, so basically 3 ounces on the weight of it, and then it is a frame lock. G10 handle scales one side, stainless steel, 410 stainless steel frame lock on the other. So with that being said, guys, let's go ahead. We're going to cut away and take a look not only at the cardboard cutting, and then we'll come back in and we'll talk a little bit more about just the rope cutting and some of the other tasks that you would be putting a pocket knife of this size through, and whether or not it can handle those type of tasks well and it's going to get the job done or it's not. All right, guys, let's go ahead and do some cardboard cutting here. I've used this knife extensively in cardboard cutting, trying to figure out what I can do to get this to cut properly. And as you're about to find out, not impressed. And the main reason for that, even though it's doing an okay job here on this cardboard, is it's not smooth. And the other CQC models that we've done with the Kershaw collaboration with Emerson cut much better. This just has too thick a blade with just not quite the right grind angle compared to even the 1K that we've previously reviewed. That can go through cardboard like crazy. And this one, even though it's shaving sharp, I can shave with this thing right now, it's not really doing a very good job when it comes to the cardboard cutting. And one of the things, not only is it just the wideness of the grind, and I even reprofiled this thing, and it's just not really working out for me like the other CQCs that we've done. But this thumb plate, this thumb disc right here to deploy the blade, is taking up about a quarter of the blade length. It's above about a quarter of the blade length, if you can see there. So when I go to cut, what often happens, you can see right here, is that the thumb plate, and I have not had this problem again with the other models that we've reviewed, even the 1K, it digs into the cardboard unless I really think about it, because it's taking up so much of the room, and then makes it almost impossible. You see there? Now it's sticking out on the other side of the cardboard, and I'm not going to be able to get a good cut. I basically have to make sure that I'm using just the front maybe half inch to 3/4 of an inch of the blade if I'm going to do any sort of cardboard cutting, just because of how short the blade is at 2.75 inches. So guys, I'm not impressed with the overall cutting capabilities and cardboard EDC cutting with this, even though it's shaving sharp right now. Just doesn't have a very good grind angle, even with some reprofiling that I've done, and that thumb disc really gets in the way of you being able to really use the full length of the blade, and really hinders it. Yeah, not impressed at all with the cardboard cutting capabilities on this knife. Well, guys, as you just saw with the cutting capability of the cardboard, not impressed at all. And for a pocket knife, actually one of the worst cutting cardboard tasks that I've ever seen, even after having to try to reprofile that edge. And a lot of that is the thickness of the blade at over an eighth of an inch thick, the shallow hollow grind. It's not, deep into the steel at how thick it is, so it just makes for a very wide grind angle. Then you're basically gonna have to spend hours and hours and hours reprofiling the edge to get it to what a lot of other knives that we'll see here as we run into comparisons in a little bit can just cut way better than this knife can in cardboard tasks. Then we did a lot of rope cutting, and I was not impressed at all with the rope cutting either. You got to really push at it, really, kind of do a drag. It's not, sharp enough really to do the type of rope cutting tasks that you would really want to see happen with particularly an EDC knife like this. I mean, plastic packaging, that type of stuff, it's just not going to do a good job. And even carving, it just didn't do very well with the, feather stick making. And again, it's because of how wide the blade is, the type of grind angle and hollow grind angle they use just do not make this a very good blade for any type of use, honestly, without hours and hours of really trying to spend some time and find some sort of perfect reprofiling edge. And for a $30 knife, there's just no point in doing that, particularly when there's so many other options on the market for this price point. So ultimately, guys, the blade, and I'm gonna say the overall quality rating I'm gonna give this knife is like a 2 out of 5. Not impressed at all, and not only the overall quality, because if the blade doesn't do what it's supposed to do and cut stuff well, what's the point of having a knife? So, I could almost just cut it there and just call it a day, but we will go through the rest of this knife here real quick, just kind of show you what else this blade has to offer you if you are interested or you think I'm crazy, and just kind of show you what else we got here with this Emerson Kershaw 2K knife. All right, guys, I want to give you the carry options rating that this knife has on it. What you can see here is that it has a nice pocket clip, tip up only, and it is left or right, so that's very nice. So that I love that type of knife when it offers you tip up, and left or right. So you ambidextrous people out there that are lefties or you are ambidextrous, you can decide which side of the blade you want to carry the pocket clip on. Obviously, the stainless steel side is the right-handed side, and that is really nice because this pocket clip is nice and strong, so it'll stay in your pocket, but it's not going to thrash your pocket against that stainless steel. Over here on the G10, it will start to tear up your pocket a little bit if you are a lefty. Got a nice lanyard hole there as well, so you can get 550 paracord through. It is going to ride rather high in your pocket, though. You're going to see about an inch sticking out of your pocket. Thankfully, it's black, so it's a pretty unobtrusive pocket clip. But overall, guys, I'm going to give it a carry option rating on this knife, on the CQC-2K, of 4 out of 5. Really no issues that I see there. It's not perfect because it rides a little high, but tip up is really the only way to carry a pocket knife, in my personal opinion, and it does give you the option for left or right-handed carry. So the carry option rating, 4 out of 5. All right, guys, let's go ahead and talk about the ergonomics here on this knife. Like I told you earlier, it's got a 3.65-inch long handle, and it fits in my large size hands. I wear large size gloves rather well. Now my pinky is starting to want to kind of come off there a little bit, but the way the handle's designed, I can kind of butt my pinky up against there, and it gives me really good lockup. There's no hot spots. This hump doesn't get in the way or anything like that. I got a really nice row of jimping with that wave, so it gives me a really good lockup. If I was going to be doing any sort of stabbing with this knife, it would give me very good lockup and traction, because then you got that G10 on this other side. That I would say is medium grit. It's not as crazy as, say, cold steel, but it's not super slick either. So they give you a really good grit of G10 on one side and then the stainless steel on the other. So guys, for a smaller EDC knife, I'm going to give it an ergonomic rating of 3 out of 5. There's definitely knives out there that would be more ergonomic just because the handle is longer, but for this basically sub 3 ounce and sub 3 inch blade, not bad at all on the ergonomics. Very average, 3 out of 5 on the ergonomic rating on the 2K. All right, now I want to take a look here at not only the deployment, but the lockup and locking mechanism on this knife. And the first thing to note is that this has Teflon bushings. You can see in there, they're not brass or bronze, they're Teflon. And Teflon isn't bad, particularly at this price point. It's just not ideal, and there are plenty of other knives that do have brass or bronze bushings at that price point. So it just means that over time, they can tend to kind of squeak, get a little bit annoying, and possibly over the long haul, possibly need to be replaced over years and years of use. Has that nice thumb disc plate right there that is removable if you don't want it. It just has a little Phillips head screwdriver. You can take that disc off and you can engage the knife blade left or right. It doesn't really matter. So you can get a nice flick there. You got to definitely flick your wrist, but you can get it to open nice and smooth, and it will deploy rather quickly with that thumb plate. I don't really have any issues with that thumb plate. I prefer thumb studs, but it definitely gets the job done. But as we saw earlier in the cardboard cutting, the placement of that thumb plate, I mean, look at it. It's like eating up about half the blade almost, a quarter of the blade for sure. And so any sort of, longer material that you're going to be cutting through, like cardboard, is going to jam up on that disc. So that is a big kind of shortcoming of the overall design. There's just some design flaws, I think, with this small blade, with what we've talked about again, not only with the placement of the thumb disc, with the Teflon bushings I'm not a huge fan of, and then ultimately the blade design, again, just a very not well thought out in my opinion. The lockup, again, is that 410 stainless steel frame lock. Hits 50% of the blade, real nice and strong. There's zero play, left, right, up, down. So very, very strong, capable lockup system. And you can disengage it and close it. Disengage it, close it. So it's easy not only to deploy, but also disengage if you need to with this blade. So that's the deployment. Now finally, with the wave feature, though, and concerning the lockup and wave feature and everything. Now I've used and we've done reviews on the 6K and the 1K, both of which the wave feature works great. And again, I think it's just because of how small and awkward the blade shape is. That wave feature did not work very well for me on my jeans and other pairs of pants I own. It just didn't want to deploy very well, and it was kind of a pain in the butt for me to get this knife to deploy with the wave feature. Again, I think that is the design flaw of it having been so small and so short and kind of stubby. It just doesn't, there's something about it that doesn't work. My 1K and my 6K work great, and there's no issues at all. This one, I just had a hard time with that wave feature and just didn't enjoy deploying it that way. So the overall deployment is I'm 50-50 on. And again, other wave features that we've seen with the Kershaw Emerson line that we reviewed have worked great. This one, not so much. All right, guys, as we come to a close with this knife review, I got to show you not only some other competitive options that I think are going to be a much better choice for you, but also just the value of this knife. This knife goes for right around the $30 mark, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, the 2K. And that is right around the same price as these two other blades that I happen to have with us today, the Rat Model 2 and the CQC-1K Kershaw Emerson collaboration. So these both are going to run the exact same price of this, and these are much, much better knives than the 2K. Particularly this 1K, we've previously done the review on. I love that knife. The grind angle is just better. It's much sharper, much easier for me to go through materials. You can see the thumb plate doesn't almost cover up any of the blade at all. It's right in line here. I think, again, the blade design, it's all the way back here, only covering up about, I don't know, maybe 1/8 of an inch of the blade. So when you are going through cardboard, that thumb disc is not going to jam up like it did on the 2K. And then the Rat Model 1 is a fantastic blade, very fast to deploy, good steel, the same quality steel that you're getting. It's AUS 8, same as HCR 13 basically, and just is another great EDC option because this 2K is an EDC knife. These two I would highly recommend over this knife, and so I'm going to give this also a value rating of like 3 out of 5. Not impressed at all with the value, because for the same exact price you're going to be able to get your hands on a much better quality knife. I think that's not only going to cut stuff better, because obviously that's what the knife is for, is cutting things. Both of these knives are phenomenally much better at cutting tasks than the 2K, and just overall ergonomics and overall price point, all that stuff. These two knives are just head and shoulders above this guy. So the value rating, guys, is 3 out of 5. There's nothing that makes me want to purchase and own the 2K over those two other knives. I would get rid of this one, or would not suggest recommending that one at all. And I would say those two are definitely going to be a better purchasing option for you for the value of right around $30. All right, guys, so you've seen this 2K in action, and I got to tell you, if you haven't been able to figure it out yet, I do not like this knife. Out of all the Kershaw Emerson collaborations that we reviewed so far, this is my least favorite. And as an EDC knife, I mean, forget the collaboration with Emerson, just as a knife, I don't like it. There's a lot of other knives for the exact same price that will be able to do a lot better in the EDC format. The blade, I believe, is just not really well designed for EDC use. It's just not. It's too thick, and it's got this weird grind on it that I just can't seem to work with. And I mean, I'm not a master sharpener, but I have a rudimentary ability to sharpen and reprofile knives, and I just can't do it even with this HCR 13 MOV. Just the way it's designed, I'm just not digging it, not impressed.
and nothing really makes me gravitate towards it. So I'm going to give it a likability rating of 2 out of 5. Not recommended. Yeah, I love the 1K. The 1K is much better in cutting and just everything compared to this one. I don't know what it is with that 1K. It just does a lot better job in all the EDC tasks than this 2K does. And again, like I said, for that price point of right around $30, I mean, I'll take a Rat 1. A Rat Model 2. You know, I'll take the K1 obviously, and there's just a lot of other knives out there that I would choose over this knife. So with that being said, guys, I really hope this helps you with your purchasing decisions. My least favorite of the Kershaw Emerson collaborations that we reviewed so far, likability 2 out of 5 on the Emerson Kershaw CQC-2K. Well, everyone, thank you so much for watching this particular episode of Gideon's Tactical. Please subscribe, comment, like the videos, share the videos, and check out our Facebook page. You can find it on the YouTube homepage of Gideon's Tactical. Like our Facebook page, where you'll get updates of upcoming videos, you'll get photos, as well as upcoming new gear releases, you know, that products and companies that are released, as well as behind-the-scenes footage and bloopers that you'll never see make it to YouTube. So thanks so much for watching, everyone. Stay equipped, stay prepared. We'll see you out there.